Have you ever wondered how to film an epic travel story on the road without bringing a ton of gear? I've done that, reaching over 6 million views and generating revenue to fund my adventures. And the crazy part is, I use only these 4 cameras. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly my method and how I use them on the road. And I'm going to share with you the single most important mindset that will make or break your video. So let's go. So if you're new here, my name is Robert Baldinger. I make motorcycle adventure videos and educational how-to content and things like that. So if you like it, please subscribe. So making a film like this is mainly 2 parts. It's the shooting part and the editing part. It's easy to focus a lot on the editing part, but we're going to focus on the shooting part, what I do on the trip, because you can only edit what you actually shoot, right? And the big trap there is to think that you're shooting a motorcycle video, or you think you're shooting an adventure video. We're doing none of that. So this is the most important mindset. What we're filming is always a film about human emotions and reactions to the environment and situations that happen. That's what we need to focus on the trip. How was that, Matthias?
That was great.
Because perhaps you're going on motorcycle adventures. And why do you do that? It's because you feel things, and your buddies and yourself, you have reactions and you laugh and you go through struggle and everything. It's all about feeling something. And if you want to make a movie that is interesting to watch, that is what you need the audience to feel also. That's the whole point of doing what we do.
You guys get to ride through a twister. Look at that! Wow!
So let's start with camera number 1, the most important camera. And it's the helmet mounted action cam. It can be wherever you want on the helmet. But yes, it's good to get the point of view footage of you riding your bike, seeing the road and the bike and everything. Yeah, that's cool. But the most important part of this setup is the audio. Remember, reactions, feelings, all of that is happening in the audio.
Oh, this is amazing.
So you need to rig your camera to capture your voice if you're solo, so you can see and react and tell the viewers what you're feeling. But the real magic happens if you're in a small group, you all have intercom, and you have this connected so you can hear all the chatter on the intercom, because that's where a lot happens, laughter, and you hear someone fall and they react to a view and everything. Oh, look at this.
What a view.
What a view.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Really wonderful.
So this audio is being captured. I have the camera rolling even if I use a different camera for the actual visuals, but capturing whatever goes on in the intercom is extremely important. That's why it's the most important one. So while riding, the second camera I use is the 360 camera. And this I use to just mix up the viewing angles and stuff, so I don't only have a helmet cam. And this is extremely versatile of what you can do with it. So this is the Insta360 X5. My main position of this camera is here on the handlebar, like that. And I use that to film back at myself. But also, if something happens on the road that passes and I don't even see it, I can see it when editing. So I can get all the 360 stuff going on here. I can look straight down and stuff like that. I also extend it sometimes. Just remember, when having it on the more elongated stick here now, it's more prone to start shaking, and you can pull this out. This is not 3D, sadly. It would be really cool if it was. But when it goes out like this and you go on bumpy roads, it looks like you're fishing or something. So keep it short there, unless you have some other setup. And to get more angles, I put them, for instance, here on the rack. If you have crash bars or things like that, I don't, then that's the 360 owner's dream, because you can mount stuff all over the bike. Here we get a rear view of everything, and in the same shot I can get video of the people riding next or behind me and so on. So that way it's really versatile. And sometimes I even do like this and ride with it in my hand. You need to be pretty safe here, because it's not that easy to manage it, where you have to let go with the hand or do some double trouble stuff here. So, but using it with your hand like this is also a way to get cool shots with a 360. So now, camera 3, very important camera for the footage you want to bring home, and that's the more cinematic footage. Handheld camera of some sort that you film your buddies passing by or going through puddles or whatever, filming what you're eating and letting your buddies talk on the camera or whatever. You need that handheld camera. And I tried a lot of cameras for this one, the big DSLRs with fantastic lenses and everything. That's too much for me. And I also tried the small pocket cameras and the DJI Pocket 3 with gimbals and everything. But I always end up using the one and only fastest camera. There, up, secure, shoot. I'm shooting now. So my iPhone is what I end up shooting most of the things around me with, because the cameras are fantastic now. You have 3 lenses. This is the 16 Pro, always evolving, but and also it has 1 terabyte of memory. So I end up shooting with this one because it's so fast, it's always there, and you can only use the footage that you capture, and this captures a lot. Camera number 4, the drone. Of course, quite important to get those epic nature shots of you in it riding or just flying around showing some beautiful nature stuff. Also, establishing shots when you're in a town somewhere and you want to show how it looks where you are. When riding in epic nature environments, I see that it's getting close to a drone shot here. Then I always just start the remote, because that's what takes the longest time actually. And I have it mounted on my handlebar, just with a sticky cup on there and on this handlebar clamp that I have. So, ready to film. And in my tank bag I have the actual drone, of course. Just pop off the lid, start it up, and while already sitting on the bike I can send it up and fly around. So 3 modes usually that I use. Either I fly up and start the active track to follow me when I'm riding, or someone. Only in certain circumstances, because it's not very fast, so you have to go like 35 kilometers an hour maximum, so it needs to be a bit technical for it to look cool. Otherwise, it just looks slow. Another mode is the cruise control. I start behind me and just set the line. I can see the road and I start just the drone going straight. No cool follow me stuff. It's just going. When I press the cruise control button, it just keeps going in the same direction. If I really want to be creative, I'm not in the shot myself. If I'm in a group, I just stop and say, okay, go ride that trail. I follow you and do whatever I want. Yep, go. Without me in the shot, but it becomes cool shots anyway. So yeah, drone, very handy, and I have the Mini because in most countries that I've ever been, it's under 250 grams. You don't need any special permits. You just need to stay within the law, but you don't need to apply for a permit to fly, even in the US and in Europe and everywhere. So a few things on power management. These cameras all go on batteries, of course, but they last usually a full day with one battery. That's because I only film when I think there's something to film. I don't put up the 360 and run it all day, only when I want. And I always have one set of charged extra batteries. So for one day, I only need one extra backup battery just in case. Also for power management, especially the action camera, helmet camera, and the 360. Those two cameras, I have a setting to film maximum 5 minutes. And then they just turn off. I never normally film more than 5 minutes, or I don't want to film more than 5 minutes in one go. But the most common thing is to forget you're filming. You press record, 2 hours later, battery is drained, memory card is full of just one long single shot. And that goes for the 360 as well. And then some extra tips and tricks, I guess. I bring my sort of bits and pieces bag, the small parts organizer from Enduristan, with all the cables and stuff that I use. So I have these credit card size memory card holders, where I have my empty and full. So whenever a memory card is full, I take it from the camera into the black one, and I pick a new one from the red one, which has empty. I occasionally also do backups. So I have this 2 terabyte Samsung disk called T7, which is suitable for my bike, I guess. So I have that, and with the mobile phone, I have 1 terabyte here. I can connect my camera with directly to the phone. I can just plug in my phone directly to the camera with USB-C. I love that iPhone finally came with a USB-C cable. So I can dump this on my mobile phone now. As I mentioned, I have 1 terabyte of data here. And then I can plug in my T7 and dump it on there. I have an even more pro way to do that with a small USB hub, like so. And now I can connect my SSD disk in here and my camera, and using the app File Browser Pro on iPhone, I can do incremental backups from the camera directly to the SSD. So and that's very convenient, because if I have half a terabyte of memory card in my camera, I don't want to back up the full camera all the time. So with that app, the File Browser Pro, I can make these backup tasks that only sends over new files to the disk. What you film on these cameras during your rides and when you're moving, you don't know what's going to happen. You will film it and you get the audio and the reactions and everything. But there's a routine you need to learn, and perhaps that's the hardest part, but you need to talk into the camera. You need to start, and I have a sort of a routine every morning, sometimes midday, and when we're done riding for the day, take up the camera and talk to it and ask your friend how was today, or if it's in the morning, what are we going to do today and what's your expectations of that, and just share your thoughts, feelings and everything on the camera. Because we need to say it, because the people watching aren't there. They don't know it. They need that conveyed somehow, and you do it. You're cold, you're hungry, you're happy, you're exhausted, whatever. Share that. Very important. Maybe that's the thing you need to train the most, to be the awkward guy with the camera. Also, bonus tip. If you're on a trip with friends, usually people have action cameras, but they don't really do anything with the footage. You go and steal that content. I have 4 cameras, but I go ask, oh, you filmed that, can I download that from your camera? Can I get this and that? Just to add up from a few angles, and maybe I filmed something but I know someone else did too. I can borrow that little clip and just add that as a different angle from someone else's bike. And if you have these mounted cameras that you can mount on your bike, if you're a group riding, don't be afraid to mount your camera on the other guy's bikes also. So that's basically it. You know what's most important now, and later I will show you what I do when I get back home with all the material, the editing process, because then you add things on top of this and so on. So, but that's for later. The most important is that you come home with the material ready to tell a really epic, interesting adventure story. Right. If I missed something, if you're still curious about things, drop me a line in the comments. If you did an adventure movie already, drop the link. Feel free to do that. I'd like to see and see what you've done. And we'll go from there. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Also, I have a newsletter now. Yeah, link down here. So I'll share things and thoughts and cool stuff on there. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.